Hi, I'm Alvina Ling,
And I'm Grace Lynn.
and we're book friends.
Forever!
We're childhood friends,
Who grew up to be
a children's book editor.
and an author and illustrator. Yay!
Welcome to Book Friends Forever. This is the Chop Suey, Baker and Taylor, Banned Books, Interns, and Book Recs with Alison Morris episode. As a reminder, once a month we'll have an odds and ends episode where we cover several topics.
And check out our Instagram handle at bookfriendsforever_podcast. Alvina, how have you been?
How have I been? I've been okay. It's actually been kind of a quiet week for me, which is good. Last week, right after we recorded, though, I did head into the city to meet up Elizabeth Yulberg, who used to be our publicity director.
Remember her?
Yeah, and then she became like the Twilight, the Stephanie Meyer
Mhm.
global publicist, and then she left to write full time. So she is a writer, and she moved to London during the pandemic. So she's actually lived there for about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
But she came back to town to promote a new book that she has that's inspired by Taylor Swift, kind of, or I think it's called the Taylors, and they are it's about four girls who are all named after Taylor Swift.
Did they get a boyfriend named Taylor?
I don't know. That would be fun. Yeah, it was actually she was telling us a little more about it. So, I guess Jennifer, wait, is it Jennifer Calanita? I'm sorry, if I'm getting the names wrong, but um David Levithan at Scholastic had approached them, I think, about writing a middle grade book, like one of them writing a middle grade book about the Taylors and the other one writing a YA book about the Taylors, like 4 years later or 5 years later. So it's like it's really cute and fun. So but anyway, she was in town, and when she's in town, she always reaches out to me and Tracy and TS about doing karaoke.
Aw.
This time we decided to have dinner first because, last time we just had karaoke and you can't really catch up. Like someone's singing and then if other people are talking, then you feel weird and then you're kind of repeating yourself. So we had dinner first and then we did karaoke and that was
Nice.
really fun. And then other than that, this past weekend, I don't know if you had this up where you are, but there was supposed to be this big nor'easter.
Yes.
And it came, but it wasn't
It
as
wasn't as big and
no.
disastrous as they were all making it seem like it was going to
Right.
be.
But because of that, I kind of, like I did my usual walk in the park with a friend on Saturday morning. But then after that, I just kind of had cleared my schedule. Also because I wanted to prepare for this SCBWI conference that I'm going to this weekend. So it was kind of nice to just be cozy inside and not have to go anywhere. But the weather wasn't as bad as it was supposed to be. So I don't know. I feel like I probably could have done more, but it's all fine. So yeah, so I'm getting ready to leave. I leave on Friday to go to this conference, and then I'm taking a couple days off afterwards to hang out in Colorado and go hiking. And Steven's going to come with me, and I think it's going to be really fun because there's a lot of so Sophie Blackall is a speaker, and so is Lewin Pham, and yeah, a bunch of publishing people that I know, a couple authors that
Yay.
we work with and publish. So yeah,
It's nice
I'm
that they're both
excited.
picture book illustrator, women picture book illustrators. That's really nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the focus, but they're the keynotes. And one of my talks is about revising and editing your picture book.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm also talking about writing responsible representation. And then I'm also doing an intensive on crafting your narrative.
It
So
must be a picture book focus, I would think, to
maybe,
have
maybe
two
they
keynotes that are
just,
picture book
yeah,
people.
maybe they just have more. Although Lei Pham does, she does graphic novels in middle grade.
That's true. That's
So
true.
I don't know what her focus will be. But yeah, I haven't done an SCBWI since last year. I did Austin or the All Y'all Texas All Y'all conference. But I kind of like the idea of doing one a year. So this is my one this year, and we'll see what I do next year. So
Yay. Maybe
yeah.
you can do one in France
Oh
or
my gosh. I still
Japan.
I still want to do one in Alaska. So
Really?
if the Alaskan rep is listening,
I was actually just invited to go to the Singapore
Oh,
conference again. Remember that we were
yep.
supposed to do that a long time ago, but I had to turn it
And
down
I
because
went, I think you were pregnant, right?
yes.
Hmm.
So like yeah, 13 years later I got the invitation again. But I had to turn it down this time too because I had already agreed to do China and I mean I already agreed to do Hong Kong with the idea of going to China afterwards. So it
Yeah,
just seemed too
too
much.
much.
I was like, it's
Right.
not close. It wasn't close enough where I could add it on, but it wasn't, but
Hmm.
it was close enough where that would just be too much. So,
That happened to me because they invited me, I think 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And I think it was, no, maybe when I was going to Taiwan and I just kind of felt like it was too close. So,
yeah, it's like you wish it was like much closer so then you could just hop over there, but then like to come all the way back home and
yeah.
then to go. Though I have to admit that there was a part of me that said, I should say yes because I got my global entry and I should use it.
Right. I mean, it's funny. Some people, they just do that. They do all these international
Yeah.
trips. I
It's
don't
just
know.
that I looked up the flight. It was like 30 hours, and I was like, "Ah, I don't think I can do it."
Yeah.
Right after, I would have just gotten over jet lag from China. So I was like, I don't think that's a smart idea for an old
N-
lady.
No. Anyway, how have you been?
Oh, how have I been? Well, I got back from the Very Asian book trip a couple days late. It
Yeah.
was a very intense, Very Asian book trip this year. It was super fun, but because we were doing it as part of the Highlights fundraiser, um, I made a lot of reels, like did a lot of video editing on the road. Like we
Yeah.
were interviewing booksellers, like, what's your favorite Asian American book? And I was video editing our daily recaps and things. And that's really intensive. Like I'm not the fastest editor in the world. I mean, I got faster, but it
And
was
you're
like
just editing it on your phone, right?
yeah, I was editing on my phone and then on the computer at night. Like it was just,
Mm. Yeah.
it was a lot of like very intensive work for me. I mean, like I said, I'm sure somebody who knows how to do it was like la la la, but for me, I was like had to really concentrate. So that's what made it really intense. But then what kind of was the cherry on top was on our last day, we had we're calling it our very Asian disaster because we got into upstate New York actually quite late. We were like 2 hours late. We don't really know how that happened. Like just a lot of things added up,
Mhm.
and we were much later than we were expecting to be. And it was a little dark, and so Debbie accidentally drove over a curb when we were getting to our place. But we didn't think much about it. Like we looked at the car, like looks fine. But then the next morning, we got out of the hotel, we got into the car, and she turned on the car, and there was this big alarm, like this big warning, like warning, warning, oil pressure low, do not drive.
Oh my
And
gosh, that's
so
scary.
I was like, turn it off and turn it on again. But it was still like, do not drive. And we're like, I guess we shouldn't drive. And so she had to call AAA and we found out that she had cracked her oil pan and all the oil had
Oh
leaked out of
gosh.
her car. And that actually and um it was really good that we hadn't driven on it because it would have ruined her car. So the mechanic who finally came, he's like, "Oh, good thing you didn't drive on it. If as long as we can get you a new oil pan, your car's fine." But the problem was that it looked like he couldn't find us a new oil pan, like the right one for her car. And she's like, worst case scenario, it'll take me I'll get a new one in 4 days, and
Oh
then
my gosh.
and then it'll
No.
take. So we're like, we're gonna spend an extra like 5 days here in upstate New York. Um, like upstate New York, I guess it really doesn't want me to leave. So so we were scrambling, trying to figure out what to do, and we tried to rent a car, but in upstate New York in Utica, no place will let you rent a car and drop it off someplace else. They always want you to return it
Mm,
back to Utica,
right.
and so the only place that would let us do that was U-Haul.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I was like, am I gonna have to drive a U-Haul all the way back to Northampton and Mystic? We had considered that, but luckily, in the midst of all of us trying to figure out how to patchwork a way back home, at one point I was like, oh, we'll take a $200 Uber ride to my sister's, and then Alex will come pick me up at
Oh
my
my
sister.
gosh. It's
We
like
had all
Amazing
these like,
Race. Yeah.
yeah, we had all these like different ideas. But as we were kind of like trying to piecemeal some kind of plan together, the mechanic was like, "I found one." And
Whoo.
we're like,
Yay.
yes, and we were able to leave that day. Of course, hours and hours later than we planned. We that day, and it was a good ending. But I
Okay.
think I think the stress might have been too much for Debbie that whole time. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do another very Asian book trip
Oh,
again.
maybe
So, but it was
you can get someone else to come and drive.
I know. I'm like, we need another driver. So
Well,
we'll have to think about it. Well,
well, I
I was
mean,
like,
I have to say though, I really enjoyed following along with those videos and they're really great and really fun. So,
oh, great. I'm so glad. Well, I think they were working where we are 90% funded for our highlights
oh, great.
fundraiser now. So
Yay.
we just need like
Congrats.
another like I can't remember, maybe $500. So like
Well, so
to
maybe our listeners, if you
yes,
when you hear this,
please. Because if we get it fully funded by November 1st, then our $5,000 turns into $15,000 because we're getting two
ooh,
times
yeah.
corporate
Well, if
matching.
everyone listening donates
$5. Yeah,
$5, $10, then
yeah.
yes, that'll be
Because
great.
we're that's what we're telling people. I've been telling people like it's okay. $5 will turn into 15. As long as we get there. So
Oh yeah, great.
so I was like, just anything is completely welcome. So I'm hoping that the reels helped with that. Um, so and anyway, if that's the end of the Very Asian book trip, at least we went out with a bang.
Yes, it was successful. This was you did it 3 times?
This is the third
Yeah,
one, which is too bad because if it's the last one, because I feel like we were just finally figuring out how to set
yeah.
it all up. But
I don't know.
that's the way the
So maybe
numbers.
like like childbirth, not that I would know, but but by next year, Debbie would have forgotten
Yes,
the
well,
pain.
I will take a year to think about it.
All right. So we didn't I don't think we did a Chop Suey episode last month because I think Allison wasn't able to join us and we just had so many guests lined up. So we didn't do a Chop Suey last month. Although I think we did a bunch of like two topic episodes. Anyway, so we're doing a chop suey. And the first segment is kind of sad publishing news, but Baker and Taylor, which was the largest library wholesaler in the country, it was announced they are shutting down.
Hmm.
So this was announced at a town hall on October 6th that they're ceasing operations. And so over 500 employees were laid off on October
Yeah.
6th, which is really terrible. Um, and so basically, this is happening because ReaderLink was supposed to purchase Baker and Taylor, and that deal fell through. And I think
Okay.
because it fell through, that Baker and Taylor just wasn't able to
What
maintain.
is Reader Link?
ReaderLink is they distribute Target amongst
Okay.
other
Hmm.
so they're like a distribution system as well.
Hmm.
And I don't know I am ignorant here. I should look it up, but I don't think they have library distribution. So
Hmm.
perhaps that is why they wanted to buy Baker and Taylor because the other library wholesaler is Ingram. And
Yeah.
so from my understanding, though, Baker and Taylor has been struggling for a while, and I don't think Hachette has been actually shipping books to Baker and Taylor for a while
Mhm.
because they were having trouble paying bills, and
Okay.
so
Uh-huh.
we had already been just primarily using Ingram.
Uh-huh.
So there are a lot, of course, there are a lot of libraries who are still using Baker and Taylor, but it seems like Ingram is able to make up for that difference. And I think
Okay.
Ingram is now
Well,
expanding
now
and
Ingram
hiring.
has like a monopoly, right?
Yeah, so that I think is an issue, although apparently Amazon, I think, is perhaps going
Oh,
to get into the wholesaler or selling books to library business, which, you know, I mean, I do
uh-huh.
think competition is better, but I also, I have
Like, why is
mixed
it
feelings about
Amazon?
Amazon. I know. So let's see. So here, there's a quote from Carolyn Morris, Vice President of Ingram Library Services. Oh, I should say that I'm looking at an article in School Library Journal where the headline says Baker and Taylor ceases operations after ReaderLink acquisition falls through. So Carolyn Morris, Vice President of Ingram Library Services, said her company has seen a steady increase in customers this year. Most large libraries already had an account with Ingram, as bigger systems often have multiple avenues to purchase books. Morris said not only have large libraries moved more purchases over to Ingram recently, but smaller libraries are reaching out to get set up too.
Hmm.
So she said they've opened more than 1,000 new accounts this year. So I do think with Baker and Taylor's problems, I think a lot of libraries were starting to get worried and trying to
Yeah.
pivot a little bit.
Though the quote that stuck out to me was when it says Morris said that to understand Baker and Taylor's collapse, it is important to note that there is less money in the physical book industry these days. We think at least 100 million has left the print book environment, she said. That's because libraries are spending more on ebooks and e-audiobooks.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, audiobooks I can see for sure.
Both of them. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't usually read ebooks, but the fact that
yeah.
you don't have to leave your house
Hmm.
to get the audiobook or the ebook
Yeah,
onto,
audiobooks make sense because I'm not gonna go get the CD and
right.
listen to it on
And
a CD.
most publishers aren't making CDs anymore anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, well, how else do they do audiobooks now? Like physical audiobooks, CDs still? Is that
I mean, I think we stopped. We used to do a
yeah,
few, but we don't do
yeah.
them anymore. So I do think most publishers have just done
Stop doing
digital.
audio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
digital download. So,
Yeah.
um, yes. And then I guess the last quote in the article said, "My big concern is when there's less competition, it hurts the consumer." She said, "I do worry with Baker and Taylor possibly going away. It's not possibly going away. It is going away. That will eventually result in higher pricing for us." So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. I mean, and I think anytime a book industry company going out of business is just really
Yeah.
terrible.
It
And the
just
fact that so
shows
many people were employed and are no longer employed. I don't know if it was this, there was also an article in Publishers Weekly. There were several articles in Publishers Weekly, and I forget which article it was, but they talked about this subreddit thread where a lot of employees of Baker and Taylor were just talking about how they just lost their job and they're looking for new ones. And it's just a really terrible time right now, I think, because there've just been a lot of
yeah.
layoffs.
Layoffs. It's just like it's it's sad how the book industry is kind of so soft, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh. And
Um,
and that's what's like I was at all the bookstores, so many bookstores, 14 bookstores this during the Very Asian book trip. And honestly, there's just so many books out there. It's gave me the same feeling, honestly, as I do when I go to conferences, when I see all these beautiful books and they're all so beautiful. And you're
mhm.
like,
It's like
what
how
is my book doing? Like, I don't know. It's such a weird feeling. I guess
but your
well, in some ways it's
books,
good. It makes me grateful just that the fact that like people actually read my book, like that they can actually find and read it. Like that's a small miracle in itself.
yeah, that's a good way to turn it around.
True, though it
Um,
is still kind of depressing too.
Speaking of depressing,
Yes.
our next, I cannot speak today. Our next session
Segment.
segment. So this is I will say with perimenopause, the brain fog is real. So, okay, our next segment is about banned book week, which, it's over at this point, but in my head, banned book week is every
I think
week,
it's banned book.
unfortunately.
It's banned book
Banned book
year.
year, banned book decade.
Yeah.
This ran this year from October 5th to 11th. And the motto I thought, which was a little funny, was censorship is so 1984.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting motto. I'm not sure if
I
Uh,
actually, to be honest, didn't know that that was the motto until I like looked it up. Even though I've been seeing a lot of people post about Banned Book Week,
yeah.
so I think a lot of people have chosen not to necessarily
Yeah,
use the motto.
I appreciate it, but I also am not sure if it's like catchy, in the way
Yeah.
that might have been a little bit better, but who am
I
I?
mean, yeah, I feel like they're, what they when they say like freedom to read or, I feel
Yeah.
like those are a little
Yeah.
catchier. I thought maybe it's worth just talking about the top 10 most banned books. So starting with number 10, your friend Mike Corrado's
I
Flamer
know.
was number
Makes me feel
10,
so sad.
had 27 challenges. Number 8, it was a tie between Sold by Patricia McCormick and Crank by Ellen Hopkins.
Hmm.
And we published Sold now because it came over
Oh.
to us from the Disney list. So
Hmm.
that's on our list right now. It was actually the only book of ours on the top 10, which we've generally had a lot over the years. So number 6 is also a tie between Me and Earl and The Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews and Looking for Alaska by John Green
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised about looking for Alaska. It seems so, I mean, I guess so.
because it's been out for so long,
Yeah,
or
because it's been
because,
out. But then I was just thinking all of these books have been out for so long. Sold
yeah,
has
Me
been out
and
for a
Earl
long,
and the
long
Dying
time.
Girl has been
Yeah.
out for a long. Yeah, all of these have. Except for Flamer is probably
Yeah.
one of the newest. Tricks by Ellen Hopkins. So Ellen
Yeah.
Hopkins has two. And then number 3 is a tie between The Perks of Being a Wallflower
Yeah.
by Chevan
Yes. And The
Strabotsky.
Bluest Eye is the title. Those are both been out for a long, long
Yes,
time.
by Toni Morrison. And then Genderqueer, a memoir
That's
by Maya
fairly new comparatively.
Kobabe. Yep. And then number 1, I think it was also number 1 last year, is All Boys Aren't Blue by George M.
Yeah,
Johnson.
I'm kind of surprised that's number one. It's
Or maybe Genderqueer was number 1 last year,
yeah,
actually.
I kind of thought genderqueer, but
Yeah,
either way, it's just sad to see that that's the prize that it wins.
I
Like,
know.
I wish it was a better prize. Um,
I was listening to Jen Loffer in this podcast talking
mhm,
about Bam Book Week, and she's also a bookseller. I don't know if
mhm,
she still a bookseller, but she was talking about how she didn't really understand. I mean, she understood, but at the same time, like she felt like all the bookstores are having like Banned Book Week and like hooray,
uh-huh.
and like and displaying all
Yeah,
the
the
books.
caution tape and like
Yeah,
yeah,
and while, she's like, okay, she's glad that those books are,
getting
getting
some yeah,
getting some face out, display attention. It just felt weird in a way,
yeah.
celebrating the fact that they're banned.
And yeah,
Yeah,
it's hard because instead of celebrating the banned books, it seems like we're celebrating that they're being banned, right? Like that's weird.
right. Yeah, it is weird. But I think, oh, sorry, my screen got
But I do think it's
weird.
good that they're getting attention. I mean, I think what it's just like what I was saying about the book industry being so soft. It's like honestly, books get lost so much. So maybe any kind of attention to these books which are obviously so worthy, is good attention. Attention like from the booksellers, not the banning attention.
Yeah. I wanted to point out, so a couple months ago we got notification that Samira Ahmed's book, This Book Won't Burn, which
Hmm.
is just out in paperback in time for Banned Book Week, was selected for the Georgia Peach State Award.
Uh-huh.
And then, like a couple weeks ago, I guess a student contacted Samira and said that they noticed that her book was no longer on the list because
Oh.
what they do is they do like a reading bowl, like one of those
Uh-huh.
competition things.
Uh-huh.
And so she looked and it wasn't being included anymore. And so she had and no one had contacted us about it either.
Huh.
Um so, Victoria Stapleton reached out and they didn't respond. But
Huh.
since then, Book Riot did an article about it and basically saying that, um, let's see, they But she said, okay, but there's something different about this year's Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl. Instead of encouraging a wide range of diverse reading, the bowl has removed 8 of the 20 titles for readers at the high school level. The decision came after, quote, receiving numerous reconsideration requests about some of the books nominated for
Hmm.
the 25-26 Georgia Peach Book Award for teen readers. The steering committee elected to remove 8 books from the list, not only
Wow.
narrowing the breadth of titles being discussed by teens across the state, but also narrowing the number of books they will be reading in anticipation of voting for the Georgia Peach Book Awards.
Wow.
So there are 8 books that were no longer on the list, and the
Hmm.
8 books were Bright Red Fruit by Safia El Hio,
Okay.
Crashing Into You by Rocky Callan, Not Like Other Girls by Meredith Adamo, Songlight by Maura Buffini, Thirsty by Jazz Hammonds, This Book Won't Burn by Samira Ahmed, Wander in the Dark by Jumata Emil, and When the World Tips Over by Jandy Nelson. And there's not necessarily like a strong commonality with those books, but 7 of the 8 are written by female identifying writers, and at least 5 are written by writers from demographically marginalized backgrounds. So it just feels, I just, like who complained? What were the complaints? It just feels really sketchy, and
Yeah.
it just
And
seems
it seems sketchy because it seems especially sketchy because there's no transparency about it, right?
right, right. They didn't tell, like we wouldn't have known if this teenager hadn't reached
Yeah.
out. And the teens are also starting like a word, the word for online, not a poll,
Petition?
petition. Oh my goodness. My apologies to our listeners. Yes, they're setting an online petition. So they're being really activists, which is great. And Samira
Yeah.
feels like that it's very much in line with the spirit of This Book Won't Burn, which is so
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a bright spot. But it's too bad that they have to do that in
Yeah.
the first place. All right. So for our next segment, this is a little bit random, but we thought we'd talk about interns and internships. This was in part prompted because we had a new editorial intern join our division this week. And it just reminded me of, my time as an intern. And I just thought, oh, that might be a nice topic because I don't think we've ever talked about that. And then I asked Grace if because I didn't remember if you had ever been an intern, and you said yes, a long time, of course, a long time ago. So, but when were you an intern?
In my senior year at RISD, Rhode Island School of Design, I was an intern at Weekly Reader, and
Oh,
I was kind of like the intern for a house artist, like back when they used to have house artists, and I remember that is where I did the illustrations. It was for a Weekly Reader insert called "How to Make a Garden," and of course I got to keep the art afterwards, and I used that art for how to make a garden as a sample piece. And I remember and that's the piece that got Harold Underdown's attention
hmm.
that became the ugly vegetable. So I was like, oh,
Wow. So
that
that
internship,
really was fruitful.
yeah, changed my life. It didn't change it the way I thought because basically after that internship, it was like, we don't have in-house staff artists anymore. Nobody
Oh,
does. But that's how it would have been if there were those jobs. So,
did you
um,
ever think about working? Well, I guess you did work at that design or that
yes.
card,
Did
that
I ever have
gift
like a real
company.
job?
But did you ever think like, oh, I'm gonna get this day job while I try to be a
Yeah, I mean,
artist?
I worked at the giftware company for a couple years where I used to make those t-shirts that say like world's best dad and
Yep.
those cups that say, did anyone ever tell you you're terrific?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so yes, but it was all on the computer. I mean, I guess in some ways it was good training for the reels that I do now, like learning how to do things on the computer. But
Mm-hmm.
it was never very joyful, It was just, but I did feel very productive. So maybe there's joy in that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I never. I was really, really glad that working at a 9 to 5 just didn't work out for me.
Right. Wasn't in the cards. Um, I did a ton of internships, both
Yeah.
during college and afterwards. So, because my major at UC Berkeley, mass communications major, was not considered a very practical major, they really emphasized the importance of doing internships. So I started doing them, I think, was it sophomore year, maybe junior year? Sophomore year, I think I did more like on campus type of internships, like with CalPIRG, the California Public Interest Research Group, for example,
Oh.
like volunteering for them for the hunger and homelessness campaign. And I did other, so that was more, maybe it was more volunteering than, well, that
Mhm.
one was maybe an internship. But then the internships that I really remember are, there was a summer, I think it was a summer between junior and senior year, I interned at Fields Hellman Film Production Company
Oh,
and
wow.
and also Movie Line magazine, and
Oh,
they're both in LA. I love the film production company one. Like, I sometimes I
you
think,
could
oh,
have
what
gone in a different
could
direction
have gone into the
altogether.
movies. Could have been.
Yeah.
But it was a small office started by Freddie Fields, who had produced Glory, and Jerome Hellman, who had produced Midnight Cowboy. So they're both
Oh.
Oscar-winning producers. I think I only ever met Freddie Fields very, very briefly. They basically never came into the office. So there were, like two other younger agents who worked
Uh-huh.
there, and then I worked mostly with the executive assistants. But it was such a fun kind of vibe in the office,
Uh-huh.
and they the perks of being the executive assistant is that Freddie and Jerome would let them vote sometimes for their Oscar ballots and things like that.
Oh.
And I answered the phone, and sometimes it would be like someone would say, um Allie, who was she was on Cheers.
Shelley Long?
It was the one after Shelley Long.
Oh.
Again,
Chrissy
yeah.
Alley.
Kirstie Alley. So I'd answer the phone. It's like, this is Kirstie Alley's representative, calling for, so sometimes it'd be like famous adjacent people would call the office. I would read screenplays. So instead
Oh.
of when I started interning in a publishing company and started reading submissions, it was very familiar. So I read some
Oh.
really fun screenplays, and I wrote coverage, which is similar to a reading report, as we would call it in book publishing. I had to walk. I walked the dogs. Freddie Fields had two Dalmatians, and I would have to walk them around the block sometimes. So it was things like that. But so my when I you know I when I finally decided on book publishing, though, the real, oh, I forgot, I also entered at K Earth 101, which was an
Radio,
oldies
yes.
radio station in LA, which was kind of fun. And I was a news intern, so I kind of
Ah.
wrote like those little short
Hmm.
snippets that the newscaster would use, and it was kind of fun when she actually read what I wrote, and I was like, oh, that was so
So
awesome.
much power.
Yes. But my two, I guess, main internships in publishing were at your publisher, Charles Bridge, as an editorial intern, and then at the Hornbook
Yeah,
as
which
an
led you
intern.
to your job at Little Brown.
Yes, exactly. So my supervisor, Kitty, she told me about the job as Megan's editorial assistant, and so that's how I really got my foot
So
in the door.
internships have really changed our lives. So internships are pretty important, I guess.
They are really important. I will say that none of my internships were paid,
Yeah.
but now our interns are paid. I don't know what the rate is. I think it might be $15 an hour now.
I feel
Um,
like when I did Weekly Reader, I was in Providence, and Weekly Reader was in Stanford, and I remember it was my teacher Lenny Long who got me the internship, and he negotiated for them to pay for my gas,
oh, that's good. That's
which was
something.
really nice.
We talk
So
we talk about trying to get like Metro cards for our
yeah.
interns, but
So,
because we
but they
pay
didn't
them.
pay anything else, but like the gas was, and I was like, okay. I was like so happy. Like, I was like, I'll do anything.
I'm glad that it does seem like, I think with labor laws,
Yeah.
it's not, I don't think it's legal to have unpaid interns, but I
Yeah.
think it is still legal if they get credit, like course
Mm,
credit, if they're
yeah.
still a student. So, yeah. So Alison Morris will be joining us shortly. But
Do let's see. Is she here? Nope, she's not here yet. Oh my gosh, for the first time, we're like
I
ready
know we
for
were
her.
like, okay, but we timed it perfectly, I thought. I guess we can talk about what advice you might have for people who are interning now.
Gosh, I don't even know what kind of interning there is right now. Um,
Well, we have generally we have a summer internship program. Um, and I do think most of the big publishers or any publishers, they have a summer internship program where it is about educating, what we hope will be the future employees of publishing. So we do a lot to really educate about the different departments. So we have a whole session called oh gosh, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like, tell me about editorial or,
mhm,
what do you know about marketing? And we have different people from different departments who will speak about their jobs. And it's open to all employees. So sometimes I'll like pop into if it's like, oh, I haven't heard about legal in a while or
mhm,
audio. And then but I do think what is important if you're an intern is really try to reach out and do informational interviews.
mm.
I've had several interns reach out to me, but no, not maybe not as many as you would think. But then again, maybe they're reaching out to someone else in children's editorial. But I do think
I
it's
have
important.
had a couple people over the years reach out to me, like offering to be my intern, or like asking if I would take like a high schooler or something like that, or a student as my intern, and I have never I've never said yes because I was like, I really don't know what I would have them do, like the the only thing I would have them now, I would have them do like social media and do like my reels. But
Yeah, actually, that would
but
be good.
honestly, I don't think that really teaches them anything except I don't think it teaches them too much. In fact, I was like, well, I'd well, if I paid them, it would be worth it for them. It would be like a paid a paid social media internship, I suppose. I guess that would be the
I
most.
think that would be really valuable for
All
both
right, if
of you
anybody wants to
to
be
be your
my
intern.
my paid social media intern, I'm all ears.
And now here's
Yay,
Allison.
Allison!
Hi, hi.
So
Hi,
let me
hi.
do the official. And now we have special guest Alison Morris, children's literature specialist, joining us to tell us what we could be reading.
Yay!
Hello, hello.
Although since it's been like 2 months since we've seen you.
Yeah.
So
So you
why
have
don't
to
you?
tell us what how you're
Yes.
doing, yeah, first.
Okay. I'm good. I'm disoriented because Gareth and I just got back from Otherworld, which is the
What?
adventure weekend we do in Connecticut every year this time of year. Um, and we're on the staff. This was my 17th year and Gareth's
Wow.
21st year on the staff. And we had one children's book editor friend and former coworker of mine from First Book come this year, and they had an amazing time. And we had an amazing time. So
I
it was
do not
great.
know what this is.
Ah,
What is
well,
Otherworld?
how much time have we got? So uh, it is a fantasy themed adventure weekend. I'm always nervous to tell people that it's fantasy though, because they picture, I think, a very traditional LARP, which is live action role playing, and this is
Mhm.
not that. Um, People, you can sign up on your own or you can sign up with five other people, and you're put in a group of six, and your party has a unique quest or problem you're trying to solve over the course of the weekend. And so there are 11 groups, there's 66 participants, and there are 115 staff people. And
Wow.
you basically are dropped into an entire village of people and you start talking to them and asking them questions. Have I really not told you guys about this?
I
Like the
don't.
I know a little
thing?
bit about it. You've told
I
Okay,
me.
yeah.
no, you have not told me.
Yeah, and you spend the weekend like looking at clues and talking to people and trying to figure this thing out with your party. And each party's quest is unique. There's no competition involved. There's a lot of team building stuff that happens, so it's warm and fuzzy. It's not broy, though you do get to carry a foam sword and attack monsters with it, which is a great stress relief.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and I went when Gareth and I were first dating and was not at all sure that this was going to be for me. And then 17 years later, here I am saying, no, I do it every year. But arguably the coolest thing about it is that you can only ever go one time as a participant. And
Hmm.
so every year we have a whole new crop of people who are like, I
Oh,
don't
and that's
really
why you have so
know.
much staff, right?
We have so much staff also because people really want to join staff after they go as
Right.
participants. Yes. So it's very hard to get on staff at this point because there's a long list of people who have been
And is
hoping
it
and hoping.
volunteer or is it paid?
We are Otherworld is a nonprofit, and so we all pay to go and do this every year for other people. But the magic of it being you can only go once is everybody shows up sort of like, can you believe we're doing this? What are we in for? How's it going to be? It's at a 4-H camp in Connecticut. Um, and you sleep in cabins. We keep you really well fed, but like the cabins are unheated, so it's a little bit roughing it. But it is truly unlike anything else that
It is
you could do for a
otherworldly.
weekend. It is otherworldly, and I often been telling people lately too. It's like Princess Bride kind of humor, and fantasy, not like Lord of the Rings. So it is like fantasy light. But the fantasy trope is helpful because it's sort of you shed your everyday
Hmm.
sort of, way of thinking about things. And you are yourself. You're not playing a part, but you are encouraged to sort of channel the heroic version of yourself.
Wow.
And some people take that really seriously, and it's kind of cool to see their interpretations of that. So yeah.
That's amazing.
So otherworld.org is the website if anyone wants to check it out. I'm also happy to answer questions. Um, but yeah, it's a super, super special thing. And I look forward all year to being with our friends who do it with us because they are just the smartest, kindest, best people. Because we all go just to like give other people this experience, and they are the people who will just step in if anything is going wrong and like try to make this weekend awesome for the people who have signed up. And we're all taking risks together in this way that also just feels affirming and comforting and fun. So yeah.
So does it feel like, how like cozy fantasies? Like is that the vibe?
Yeah, yeah, I would say that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels cozy fantasy.
Hmm.
There's moments that feel stressful. I was shocked by just how into it I got. Like there are definitely points where you're like, "Oh wait, this is a story, right?" But you're like, "But wait, we're super invested in figuring this thing out." Or we're really worried about this person and what's happening to them, and then you're like, "That's a character." But okay, sure, still.
And then is it
Um,
also it's a competition or is it a
no,
competition?
it's not
Okay.
competitive at all.
Okay.
I mean,
You're just in
you
little
are
groups.
really trying to solve your thing by the end of the
Has there ever
weekend.
been where you don't solve it?
I mean, no. Like,
Okay.
we're gonna help you
You'll
get
help.
there.
Yeah.
Like,
So like if it's the last day
So
and you're nowhere close, somebody's like,
it's kind of like
"Hey."
an escape room, except
it is like an escape room. I honestly, what I say to people in the book world is it is like you've been dropped into a novel and you have to
Mhm.
find your way out again by talking to
Aw,
characters
that's
in the
Speaking
book.
of, have there ever been any
So,
books about it?
no, although Kate Milford went many years ago, and I remember she's that Christy Hayes is the name of the woman who writes the incredible script. We have a 400-page handbook, y'all, at this point. Every 2 years we get a new plot with new characters to play. And these descriptions are unbelievable. They're detailed and emotive and
Wow.
like funny and punchy and like it's just incredible. And then we have to memorize 115 people's character names and their real names. Um,
Oh my
but
goodness.
it is a true act of love, but it's
That's
really
amazing.
it's really good. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
anyway,
Can't
I
believe
think
I've
you
never
guys
heard
would
of it.
both really love it. Happy to add you to my email list of
I feel
people we
like it's
pester
something,
every
it
year.
feels like something that I would want to do with Hazel. I feel like I want to save it until she's older and then do it with her.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
Right now she's a little bit of a teenager.
I forget the rule. I think that the youngest you can be to go is 16, and even then you have to have an adult with you, and it
Yeah.
can't be a parent.
Oh, it can't
Um,
be a parent.
mhm.
Oh,
So
what a
the
bummer.
parents can go in a different party. Your
Uh-huh.
teens can go with a sort of companion
Uh-huh.
partner. Partly
Oh,
just so that they get to be their own
Self,
person,
yeah, that makes sense.
you know?
yeah.
Um, And it's funny because like our friends who went this year, they were put with four people they didn't know.
Hmm.
And you get to know those other people in a really unusual context really well, even if you don't know much of anything about their everyday lives, which is cool.
There
Um,
has to be like a Hallmark movie or a rom-com or something
yeah,
surrounding
yeah.
something like this. Okay.
So yeah, Kate Milford has been, Jonathan Oxley has been. I'm trying to think of other author friends who've been. We know some other authors who've
Yeah.
been there too, but
I'm surprised none of them
a
have written
lot of
about it
our
yet.
non-book people friends who have gone actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You guys could help tip the scale. I would
Interesting.
never recommend it if like we're choosy about who we recommend it to. Not choosy isn't quite fair, but like if you're somebody who's just like just not that curious or like really anxious about stuff, it's probably not going to be the right fit. But if you're like, I don't know, this sounds kind of not like
Yeah.
anything I've done before, but I'm up for it, you're probably going to love it.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay. Well,
yeah. So
exciting.
there you go. I
Well,
didn't hop on to give a sales pitch for Otherworld, but
no,
know what I
I'm
mean?
very excited to have heard that. But
Yeah.
now, would you like to tell us what we could or should be reading?
Yes. So I earlier today was like, what have I been reading and looking at? And I'm out of my usual routine because I don't have to read everyone's lists. So we have sort of a hodgepodge of things here. But the first one I want to be sure to talk about is middle grade novel I listened to on audio that I absolutely loved and just didn't get a chance to talk about last time. It's called It's All or Nothing Vale by Andrea Beatriz Arango. And actually, do you go by Andrea? I'm sorry. I've listened to your whole amazing panel at National Book Festival and I don't recall. Anyway, um, it's a terrific book. I thought the reader of the audio was particularly great. So if you're
Mhm.
like, oh, is it good on audio? Yeah, this one's terrific on audio. Um, and I was thinking earlier about, oh, I should do some books that are Halloween related. This is not Halloween related, but it is a book about fears. So I'm
Mm.
just going to shoehorn it in on
Yeah.
in that regard. Um, and the fear it really is addressing, namely, is what if you can no longer do the thing that you believe makes you you?
Mm.
Who are you if you have to give up the thing that you're the most passionate about or you spend the most time doing? And so in this case, it is about a girl named Vale who is really into fencing. It is a wonderfully expressive middle grade novel in verse. And Vale is struggling to figure out how fencing fits into her life because she's had an accident that has left her with a permanent leg injury and chronic pain that goes along with that. But for her whole life, she has just viewed herself as a champion and a fencing champion. And she has had one goal, which is winning, 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 winning. She wants to be an elite athlete, and her whole future has been built around being the best because she really is for her age group and in her particular training group. So she has been wired for competition, and she is just like has never allowed herself to be distracted at all by other things. But when she starts to feel like she can no longer be the best at fencing and her body is betraying her, she's sort of stuck wondering like, who is she without fencing? And what is it that she wants to do with her time and just kind of with her life? Like, who is she and what are her goals? And also who she can turn to because her friendship world has been upended for reasons that become clear over the course of the book. She's also finding it hard to be around other fencers because with them, she only sees the things that she can't do anymore. I was completely drawn in by her emotional journey and the complexity of her character. She is not perfect, nor are the people around her, which makes it totally believable. Um, it just asks so many meaningful questions about our identity and how much that's wrapped up in the things that we do. And also, there's a lot about this label of disabled that she is just really pushing back against initially.
Mm.
But one of the points the book makes multiple times is that all of us are either disabled or pre-disabled, which is the
Mm.
author multiple times says, this is my point of view on this. But that also there is this expansive range of words people use to talk about their bodies. And that may or may not be a label that works for everyone. It's also a book about making mistakes, accepting them, apologizing, moving on. And you see this happen with multiple characters in multiple ways. So I don't know. I thought it was a fantastic book. It never feels heavy-handed. It's a great book about healthy relationships of various kinds. And yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking about it, which is always to me is kind of the ultimate sign too.
Yeah.
I think it'll be relatable really to anyone who's ever had a singular passion, or who's had a hard time sort of defining that line between themselves and what it is that they do, or who's ever had to experience a major change in their body or their abilities. And also all those people who feel driven all the time to win. This is also a good book for you to read.
Hmm.
So yeah, what I wrote at the end of my notes was this book is a restorative level set and a big, beautiful hug in surprisingly few words.
Oh,
So yeah,
nice.
bless those great novels in verse that you can be like, how did I absorb such a complex story, but with so little on the page? I'm always bowled over by that. All
Nice.
right, in a totally different vein, I was reading some books on Kid Can Press's list today, and I read this picture book about capitalism that I found really entertaining. And I thought, who doesn't need an entertaining book about capitalism? It's really about the sort of increasing pressure that I think many of us feel to like monetize, 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 and like grow things. So it's called The Richest Cow in the World and is written and illustrated by Baru, Barroux. Um, and so it's the story of this cow who is lying happily in the shade under his apple tree, watching the clouds go by when a pig comes along and then points out that instead of just sitting there, he could be doing a lot of things. And then over the course of the next all these spreads, we see this pig's vision unfolding. So he's like, you could be harvesting all those apples from that tree, making pies and jams, selling those items, plus related merchandise at a farm stand, then using the proceeds from those apples to buy more apples and other tree varieties, harvesting those to buy more land, hiring workers, opening a factory, expanding your business multiple times, getting more factories, and then you could hire an ad agency and become an international influencer and make more money. And you see his life becoming kind of increasingly more isolated as well as this happening. And then he'd be so rich he could afford to buy his own private island. And of course, what is he doing on that private island? He is
Fine.
under a tree looking up at the clouds in the sky. So yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny, even when you
Yeah.
see it coming. And the title, calling it the richest cow in the world, is perfect.
Yeah.
On the cover, he looks rich in the sort of rich and famous sense, but and yeah, astute
That
readers
sounds
or
amazing.
adult readers will know. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
that's
not a real
interesting
rich.
that they make. I actually know that story. It's a pretty famous folk tale. So it's interesting, but it's usually a fisherman. It's a like a poor fisherman.
Ah,
Uh, and so it's interesting that they made it into animals. So that's
yeah,
probably
it's
much more
funny.
accessible.
It's also much funnier because you say
Yeah,
that, and I'm like, oh yeah, it would seem much more serious.
yeah,
Even though the illustration style is funny, even in this illustrator's hands, it would seem so much more serious with humans. But when
yeah,
it's a pig talking to a
yeah.
cow, it's somehow easier to be like, that pig
hmm
is ridiculous.
hmm
So,
Yeah.
and it didn't feel heavy-handed. Yeah, I think it's funny. I also just think it prompts a lot of healthy discussions.
Yeah.
Um, Arguably, adults will be more taken, or they'll just see more truth in it and more, be able to apply that lens to reality. But I still think kids will also
No,
appreciate it.
definitely.
Because also you get stressed out. You're like, why would you want to do all these things? Like you
Right.
watch it unfold in this way that's not appealing. So, Grace, I'm just realizing we're like wearing the same color on
Yeah.
screen.
Yours looks more red.
Bland.
Grace
Mine
is
looks
more
more
orange.
orange.
Okay. All right. Fair. Okay. And then I just had a handful of just really sweet picture books that are Halloween themed. And I have to say, Alvina, I have
Yes.
not yet read Peter Brown's newest picture book.
You
Speaking
mean
of
the wild
Halloween
robot?
books,
This one?
Jasper Rabbit's Creepy
Oh,
Tales.
I don't work with him on the Simon and
Oh,
Schuster
oh, it's
creepy,
Simon and Schuster. I didn't even notice that. Okay, anyway.
but
All right.
I'm sure they're wonderful.
Okay. Well, I haven't read that one, but I have seen and heard good things. So just to say, the ones that I have noted here to mention are My Abuela is a Bruja, which is a
Mm.
simultaneous English and Spanish publication, written by Mayra Cuevas and illustrated by Lorena Alvarez Gomez, who always does these lush, incredible illustrations, often with a very dark palette and bold colors on that dark background. So anyway, it's just beautiful and it's so full of love. When I was, helping curate titles for first book, we would often be like, it's another grandma book because we've seen so many in recent years. But every now and again we'd see one, we'd be like, but this one we have to buy. And that was my reaction to this one. So this is about a child who just sees magic in everything that her abuela does, in cooking and dancing and gardening, so much so that she begins to think that her grandmother must also practice actual magic, and she's hoping some of that magic will rub off on her. It's just this, I don't know, lush, enveloping love song to loving grandmothers, to the relationship between children and grandparents, and also to Puerto Rico. The back matter is also great. It includes 2 recipes, but really, it is just a book that is full of love. So my abuela is a bruja. Definitely look at that one. And then I honestly, this is terrible. I wrote down Witch Cat, written by Lucy Rowland and illustrated by Laura Hughes. And I took no notes on the plot, and I didn't get a chance to put them in for you. Check out Witch Cat.
Sounds great.
I noted that it was a
title.
supremely charming read aloud for Halloween. The rhymes work, the adventure is fun, the ending is satisfying. A kid pleaser for sure. Hopefully that's enough.
Yeah.
I will then go back and remind myself the differences between that one and the next one, which is called Evelyn Witch Gets a Pet, because the two of them, as I also noted, go well together. Evelyn Witch Gets a Pet is written by Beth Ferry and illustrated by Charles Santoso. And this is a very sweet, he's so good.
Yeah.
And Beth Ferry writes great books too. This is a sweet, funny, very satisfying story about a witch who can only afford the quote mystery pet at the pet store, which is to say it's an egg and they don't know what's in it.
That's fun.
So she wants a pet to be her familiar, but she can only afford the egg. So she tries a few spells to try to get the make the egg hatch and gets her the animal she wants. Though none of those animals she's wishing for actually hatch from eggs, as other characters point out. So there's a way you can use this in science lessons as well. And she finally has to settle for the only kind of magic that works for most things, which is waiting patiently. And so the end, she does get a pet. I won't spoil it and say what it is.
You have to tell us.
I will say it's a little anticlimactic, but it's very sweet. It's an animal that, according to a certain very wizard and witch focused book, is very popular with witches and wizards.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna guess it's an owl.
No, it does make
you're right. It's an owl.
I love the mystery egg because that is true. Because at the place where we get our chickens, they also like offer mystery
Really?
egg. Like get just see what you get. And I'm always thinking
I
like
love that.
That's an egg that like they forgot to like mark. And so I was like,
well, now I'm wondering if Beth Ferry knows that and if that's part of what inspired it. I don't know, but I didn't know about that phenomenon.
That is
What are those? There's a lot of those toys, right? Where they're you don't know what.
the Hatchimals.
Yeah.
I remember Hazel used to love those.
Yeah. Either way, just the suspense of not knowing what she's going to get makes this book worth reading because it's just a great premise. And I will say that Charles Santoso's art really brings all of Evelyn's emotions and antics fully to life. She has a lot of feels in this book and you see them all. So it's great. And then the other one I noted was Leonard Builds a Haunted House by Mike Cicciutello. And this is just a super cute book. Young children particularly will find this one very funny. Ghost is building a new house for him and his ghost family or friends, but he keeps doing it well and making it nice. And the question is, how is this house even haunted? And of course, the answer is because the only ingredient you need is ghosts. So it can be a nice house, but if it has ghosts in it, it's a haunted house. So it's very cute. It's delightful, but very simple. So yeah, that is Leonard Builds a House by Mike Cicciutello. So yeah, that's just a smattering of things. Happy almost Halloween. Grace, what is Hazel going as this year?
She is going to be it's not K-pop, it's an anime character. I can't remember. She and her friend are being these two anime girls together. And they have names, but I don't remember now.
Okay, it's all right. It's okay. They're going to be
Hatsune Miku and something.
I was going to say all the K-pop demon hunters costumes in the world are going to be out in force.
K-pop. It's not K-pop Demon Hunter. It's more obscure than that.
Yes.
That's too popular for her.
Exactly. But also the popularity of K-pop Demon Hunters means when she says she's a K-pop character or person, people will have more context for what that actually means. So she's sort of falling in just the right slot as far as all those things are concerned. Excellent.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's end as we always do with what we're grateful for. I can start this week. Something that I forgot to mention is I did get vaccinated last week, and I got three of them. I got COVID, flu, and pneumonia.
Oh, pneumonia.
So pneumonia is it's not a new vaccine, but it's newly approved, I think as of last year for ages 50 and over. And they actually offered it to me last year because I had turned 50, but I was getting COVID, flu, and shingles, which is
Oh, shingles
also
is a
for
rough one.
yes. So I said, I'm not going to do four at once. But this year I'm like, okay, I thought, okay, I'll do pneumonia. And I didn't have any side effects. So
That's
I
great.
am grateful for the vaccines and I'm grateful for no side effects
Good for
either.
you.
That's
Um,
great.
Grace, what are you grateful for?
Let's see. Let's see. One of the things I forgot to mention earlier is that I am doing a pre-order giveaway for Ling and Ting Lunar New Year. That's going to come
Yay.
out at Lunar New Year. And I have not done any, I haven't planned, like usually I do this whole pre-order campaign and stuff like that. And I've just been so busy and I think I got a little burned out with The Gate, The Girl and the Dragon. So I didn't really think of it until recently. And so I was like, oh, I guess I can offer a webinar again, like a free virtual visit to anybody who pre-orders. And so I called up the Carl Museum, who's done it in the past, and it's kind of last minute for us to do it. And I was like, do you think you could still do it? Because they usually have to plan all these things. And they said yes, and they said okay, we'll do it.
Good.
And I thought that was really nice, like to kind of throw it all together. And we kind of just got everything together like this morning so I could put it in my newsletter that goes out tomorrow. So like I'm really grateful to them, especially because their education person, Courtney, is no longer there. So that's another
Oh,
reason why I was like, she got a new job. And so that's why I was like, I don't know if they'll be able to do it. So I'm really grateful that they're willing to do this pre-order campaign thing with me for Ling and Ting. But I'm also just really glad that I'm home. I'm glad I got home.
yeah.
And I'm not
You're not stuck in.
upstate New York is lovely, but I'm glad I'm not stuck in upstate New York still. And I get to see and I got to see during our trip how beautiful the fall is. It's like so gorgeous here, at least in New England, like all the trees. Like we drove to go
Here
apple
it's not
picking.
very,
Really, it's
yeah. I've heard
gorgeous where
it's
we are.
because maybe it didn't rain enough. I don't know.
Oh, I
Yeah.
just
Oh well.
like we
I'm
were just
glad
driving and I
it's
was like, the
pretty
world is
somewhere.
so beautiful. And I was like, we do not
Oh,
deserve the world. It's so beautiful. And so I'm really grateful for all of that.
oh.
Allison, what are
Allison.
you grateful for?
All right, I'm going to piggyback for 1 second and say that I'm looking forward to turning 50 just so I can get the shingles vaccine
Pneumonia
and the
and
pneumonia
shingles.
vaccine. I have some autoimmune stuff going on, and my rheumatologist, I
Oh,
said to her, I was like, I am terrified of getting shingles. And she's like, you should get that vaccine as soon as you can. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm 49 and a half. She's like, see if they'll give it to you early. They will not, folks. Here's the
oh.
end of that out because it was only tested on people 50 and older. So they're like, we don't have any data. And I'm willing to
It's
Like
take
so
that
on your
risk.
birthday, you go.
I'm now like
it's so
49 and 7/8
ridiculous.
or something, but like no, not quite 49 3/4. But yeah. So anyway, I'm looking forward to
Well,
that. So
we all know
Alvina,
something magical happens in your body when you turn 50. I don't know.
exactly, exactly. I know it's
Well,
like the one win.
you know, a little off topic, but I read this article and it says that your body, like you don't age slowly, right? Your body kind of ages in spurts.
I've
And
read this too.
your first spurt is at age 44 and your second spurt is at age 60. So like that's when you start really feeling your age is at 60. I mean,
Okay.
around average 60. And also you're supposed to first feel it when you're 44 around. So I was trying to remember when I was 44 if I started to feel it. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I don't know. I don't know, but I definitely am feeling it now. So,
Yeah.
I was
like,
paying attention at 60.
I'm feeling it now, but I'm also like, give me all of the preventative things now. Like whatever they are,
Yes.
just load me up. I'm ready. Load me up. So anyway, yeah, but so thankful because I'd forgotten that, or thank you, Alvina, because I'd forgotten pneumonia is also at 50. So I'm like, just adding it to my list.
Hmm.
Things to do on my birthday.
What a great gift.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I don't know what to say I'm grateful for other than just, I think because I just came out of a weekend where I was part of this story, I'm just gonna say I am so grateful for story and narrative,
Yeah.
right? Like, what a gift that we can use it to escape, we can use it to reflect. I'm like preaching to the choir because I know everybody who listens to this is already there with me,
We
but like,
all
I
love
don't know.
story.
It's also good to
Yeah.
just have those reminders. This is always a huge one. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm grateful for story and
Yay.
people who write them well.
Yay.
Yeah.
Me too.
I guess I'm even grateful for like bad stories though. It's
Yeah,
still
I was gonna
stories.
say
It's
I'm
still
even grateful for
creativity,
those who
right?
write them poorly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I at least feel grateful that we still have ideas. There's untold numbers of stories that we can
Yeah.
still tell. So yeah, grateful for
My
that.
cat. My cat's yawning.
Oh, so sweet.
All
We're
right.
boring the poor cat.
So that was the Chop Suey, Baker and Taylor, banned books, interns, and book recs with Alison Morris. I figured we should always put your name in when you're a guest
Aw, thanks.
episode. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Alex at Paceyworks Studio for editing this podcast. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend about it.
And tag us on social media using the hashtag BookFriendsForever or send us a message via Instagram at BookFriendsForever_podcast or via our website, BookFriendsForever.com. And please join our Patreon. The link is in the show notes.
I'm Alvina Ling. You can find me at Planet Alvina on TikTok and at Alvina Ling on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. Allison, where can people find you?
I am at Kid Lit Girl and Alison L. Morris. Look for either of those and you will find me pretty much anywhere. Facebook. Anyway, yeah. I don't post much, but I am there. DM me.
And I'm Grace Lynn. You can find me at Pacey Lynn on Instagram and see all of my Very Asian Book Trip reels that I work so hard on and Threads, and author Grace Lynn on Facebook.
Yes. And you did start posting those reels on TikTok too, I noticed. So
Yes, I just figured since I had it, I'd put it. But like, I don't want people to go there and think I'm going to be posting there regularly, so I didn't want to say it.
Anyway, have a great week.
Yes, happy reading. Bye.
Bye.